Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Let's talk about YouTube gone wrong, right? When YouTube going back and forth goes wrong to the extent where somebody says, I'm going to sue you, that is when you need to call a professional. You need professional legal advice. You don't need to be talking your business here on YouTube. Even though some lawsuits might seem frivolous, from experience, right, and just by common knowledge, we all know here in the U.S., anybody can sue anyone for any reason, right? A lot of times it's intentional emotional distress, which has nothing to do really with the platform that you're doing it on or what have you. You're just claiming that the person is causing you this anguish for whatever reason, right? And then the law has to decide whether or not, you have a case, right? That's why you need the help of a professional, right? Here in California, we have what's called the Cyberbullying Protection Act, for example, that makes platforms liable, internet service providers liable for about $7,500 per incident, right? So if somebody's, wanting to and they get legal counsel to do so, and let's say somebody made 20 videos on them, right? Now you're looking at $150,000. That's maybe the person that's making the videos on you has no money whatsoever. They're broke as a joke. But, you can sue the platform. They got money. So there could be an incentive there, right? But it's a real mess. It's a real mess because when it comes to this, when somebody sends you a letter to stop, for example, what is your lawyer going to tell you? Any lawyer is going to tell you whatever's best for you. That's what they get paid for, right? And what's better for you, to stop, take your videos down, or hand this lawyer a $6,000 retainer? I mean, the answer is pretty simple, right? Because no lawyer's going to take a case on like this thinking that they're going to make, buku bucks from you going up against a platform that has federal protection, for example. The call for getting an award is kind of hard. You can see it, for example, with the ex-president, right? He lost a civil case. He had to go buy a bond because the judgment was so huge. You don't know what's going to happen in a civil case, right? If somebody's has a good lawyer and they take you to court and the other person doesn't have any money, you could really get screwed, right? Even if you're broke as a joke, the other person can own your salary 20% for the rest of your life. Ask Nintendo, right? I think that's the deal the guy has after he serves his prison sentence. He's going to be an indentured servant for the rest of his life. That's got to suck, right? So now you got to pay half your salary in taxes, and now you got another 20% that you got to give somebody because you trolled them. It's insane, right? It is insane. So, in my experience, nobody that's been through a lawsuit ever says, I'm going to sue you, because it's such a mess. And most cases get settled. And this is how people get silenced a lot of times, right? Because if let's say this reporter sues a YouTuber, what's going to be the cost, right? What is going to be the cost? Because if somebody on principle wants to stand on something, they'll go to the end of it. They don't care. They're not going to sell for jack squat. The ex-coach of the Raiders would be a perfect example. The NFL has been wanting to settle with him, and he's like, nope, I don't want, I'm not doing it. Gina Carano is another one. She's doing it, and now she's, has the backing of Elon Musk. And now she can take Disney, rake them through the coals, right? So legal battles can be long, and they can be very, very expensive. And if they change the laws here with this new bill that they've introduced, it's in the House Senate, for example, right now. It makes a lot of content that's now on YouTube, for example, like these repetitive channels, for example, let's say on Cyrax or DSP. It would put them in certain categories that would lead, and this is just my interpretation, okay? I'm not a lawyer. You need to consult a lawyer, and this bill hasn't passed yet, of course. It's barely been amended here on May 16th, I believe. But it would make a lot of these videos fall under those categories. And now these individuals, whoever they are, if they feel victimized, now they can go, right? And the question always is, well, why are you going to sue somebody that has no money? Well, to silence them, number one. Number two, if you're just spiteful, right? Somebody's spiteful and they have a lot of money, they have money to burn, right? They have the $6,000. So if they're, you know, just, spitballing here, guys. Let's say you're doing it here in California, it's within state, it probably costs you $3. If it's in the U.S., you're looking at $5. That's additional to your retainer, right? So another $3,000 for paperwork or what have you. If it's, outside the state, you're looking at $5,000. If you have to go overseas, probably about $7,000, right? But it's still, that's not cheap. Throwing around $7,000 just for not wanting to just not watch YouTube, not watch your own stuff, is a lot of money. But there's people out there that are petty. So there's people out there that will rake somebody through the coals for that kind of money because they have money and they don't care, right? I'd rather spend a week in Vegas myself, but you can't say that of anybody. And when it comes to this situation right here, specifically when it comes to Smash JT and Elisa Mercante, it could be different if the laws change, right? If the laws change, you could be looking at a whole different ball of wax. And even though one person or another might feel a certain kind of way and they feel they're in the right, what really is going to matter is what the law is at the time that the lawsuits are filed, if they're ever filed, for example. I don't know what kind of lawyers you can get for the salaries that pay at Kotaku, but if they get all the, woke people and they do crowdfunding, they can afford a lawyer, right? And then it can get really messy for everybody. Getting sued is never a good idea, right? Or suing somebody is just not as easy as saying, I'm going to sue you. There's a lot more pieces to the puzzle that you need to consider, and that's why you need to hire a lawyer. Now, if you feel wrong to that point, that's fine. Again, if there's petty people out there, man. I used to have a boss. I would never want to get in a legal argument with him because this guy loved being in court. Let me tell you, he just loved it. He loved, having somebody on the other side or just having somebody sign an agreement just so he could feel better about himself. There are those kind of people out there. And when it comes to social media, people could just be proving a point, especially when it comes to journalists that feel that they shouldn't be criticized at all. So, hopefully this doesn't come to pass, but it's the world that we live in. And if, you fall into any of these categories, if some of these bills passes, man, I would be looking at to talk to a lawyer. I do not want to be involved in any of this crap, right? So, I'll make a video, I'll make a follow-up, but I'm not making 10 videos on a single thing, because then it starts crossing the line into what the law eventually will become. All right, humans, those were my 10 cents. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm trying to recover here. It was a great mariachi time, just a great family time. Had a time for a long weekend. I was due a little vacation. Had a lot of papers to write and what have you. So I decided to take a little break, but, come back tomorrow. I have to get back on the grind. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. Take care.